Working the opposites practice in a yoga nidra can help find balance in life. It's a key element in yoga nidra to help us gain full emotional and mental control. How can you discover these benefits of this element of a yoga nidra practice in a broader context? Firstly, opposition is the form of polarity that creates structure and balance. The universe needs polarity to create existence, and your individual reality requires the inner world that balances the outer world, relationships within and relationships with other, in order to experience life. The opposition of past and future does not provide what is aligned in the present moment. And a way to clear the mind, emotions, subconscious and unconscious, is to work with the yoga nidra practice of opposites. So what are these opposites in a yoga nidra? There is a point in your yoga nidra practice after you have settled, you've taken a body scan, and perhaps dropped into your breath, that your teacher will guide you through your opposite sensations. These may be emotional or physical feelings. Often as a beginner, there might be a sensing of physical sensations, feeling hot and cold or heavy and light. And this practice may be part of the breath work, finding the opposite sensations of an inhale and an exhale. When I first started my own opposite sensation practice, it had a profound impact on me as it began to give me space between my emotions and experiences, especially the physical pain management after my head injury and the emotional instability that I was experiencing. I began to discover that I could control my experience through witnessing my own ability to shift sensations with my thoughts. And because this practice is a way to really empower you to change your thoughts, it can change your life. Ultimately, opposites is a practice where you control your experience of life through your internal choice of these opposite sensations. What is it that is happening in your brain in this part of a practice? The practice invokes an electrophysiological response in the brain that tells the central nervous system about the sensation changes to make due to the consciously perceived sensation requested by the teacher. The brain fires signals repeatedly until it displaces the body into feeling the sensation being created in the mind. This is how thoughts become things in your reality. The trick of this practice is that it experientially shows you how consciousness can determine and direct experiences felt by the physical body. It brings awareness in the conscious daily life of moments when you can choose to change your response. When we come to more advanced practices, they can be more challenging emotional sensations such as fear, rage, aggression, hatred. And these are triggered by the reptilian brain, at the bottom of the brain near the brainstem, into our fight, flight, freeze and fawn responses, our sympathetic nervous system's way of responding to danger. With sufficient yoga nidra practice, advanced practitioners can submit voluntarily to such extremes of emotions. With sufficient yoga nidra practice, an advanced practitioner can submit voluntarily to such extreme emotions whilst preserving this state of witness awareness. And this reduces the physiological response in the body as well. So the benefits of practicing this opposites is obviously improved functioning of the left and the right brain hemispheres. This means that there is better problem solving, imagination, analysis, sense of rhythm, and connection with use of language. It's an excellent training for pain and physical discomfort, and with a great commitment of discipline and motivation, the mind can be trained to perceive pain differently and manage residual sensations. The practice also develops emotional control. As you begin the practice, you begin to work with emotional sensations, training emotional responses in a way that can build awareness in the conscious daily life of emotional responses. And with regular practice, it's possible to bring the opposite emotions into simultaneous awareness without conflict or contrast. So in other words, you can feel more calm, regardless of what is happening in the external world and the relationships that you normally have experienced in the past. There's also this repeated element with the practice, which means you become a bit less attached to things. There's less holding on and gripping to needing outcomes and experiences in a certain way. And that connects you more easily to moments of bliss. You might also notice an increased perceptual awareness, emotional control, and increased conscious destiny, arising from this deepening in your opposites. As W.H. Auden said, choice of attention, to pay attention to this and ignore that, is to the inner life what choice of action is to the outer. In both cases, a person is responsible for their choice and must accept the consequences, whatever they may be. That is the reminder that it really is within the perceived control of you and your mind as to what it is that is the response you have to external situations in life. Some of the lineages that are under Yoga Nidra and share it from different wisdom are the Richard Miller I-Rest Yoga Nidra, which has focused and developed its practice for those who suffered trauma and has had various studies on the benefits for those with PTSD. I often recommend this type of Yoga Nidra practice to those who are still in severe trauma, and it's where I started too. Working with sensations is broken into 3 stages. The first is opposite feelings. The current physical feelings in the body are witnessed. Then you move to opposite emotions, observing and proactively creating emotions. Where and how do they feel in the body? And the third is opposite thoughts, proactively changing and observing thoughts and images, such as I am strong, and how that is experienced as a felt sense in the body. The practice can be intentionally a bit disquieting, the mind and of memories. This brings to the surface what deeply can serve you in discovering joy and well-being. The goal here with opposite sensations is to surf and ride the sensations as a witness throughout the practice. Opposite sensations may be avoided because you fear the outcome of facing the sensation or emotion. And through this method, you have a fairly safe and clear way to get to those deeper hidden opposites and find more balance and joy in daily life because it comes from within you. In the Satchitananda lineage, the opposite sensations is connected to the muscular patterns of tension and release in body sensations. The aim of the practice is to develop willpower on the emotional plane. As we become more advanced, the path is to bliss and enlightenment, where one can remain a witness, consciously experiencing extreme primal emotions from the reptilian brain, like the ones I mentioned earlier on when we're in extreme fear. But be mindful, don't do this kind of practice until you've probably worked through those 3 stages from I-Rest. One of the things that I really love working with my clients and sharing is that this part of a Yoga Nidra practice is a great way to transform what it is that you dislike and allow it to be held in equanimity with the things that you do like in life. You can find out how to use this element of the Yoga Nidra practice and train yourself to accept life as it is, regardless of your preferences. And through this practice, you have the power to completely shift your mind, emotions, and physiological state, which means you're going to live in a very different way. It's like living in a place of deep rest, where your beingness is more present than your reactivity. And I'd love to support you shift your state, to be able to be more you as you go about the action of your life and serving what it is that your gifts are here to share with the world. Through my Being You in Action course that you can do on your own, in your own time, through the NIDS Nidra app, or you can join us for the live an interactive version of this course through your sanctuary within the Nids Nidra app. I'd love to connect with you, and perhaps your first step is just to go to the Nids Nidra app and join the free library of wellbeing resources so that you can experience this component of the Yoga Nidra practice within a full Yoga Nidra recording. There's over 150 practices within this free library for you to take your time and digest. And there's monthly live community practices where you can connect with me and those who are in our safe space and discover what else there is that's here for you that will allow you to relax and deepen into this way of living from a deeply peaceful and restorative place. May you have a most wonderful week, month, and life.